everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I really wanted to talk about something different from what I usually do, which is reaction videos. I wanted to talk a bit about group orders and getting merch from your favorite K-pop idols when you don't live in Korea. I planned on doing this little video kind of guide thing because a lot of my friends personally have been coming to me for advice on how to get their merchandise. Oftentimes these merchandise from various K-pop idols are only available in Korea or Japan or other like neighboring East Asian countries, but those two predominantly, and it's very hard for international fans to get their hands on them. Even when shipping is available from the official site to your country, it tends to be very expensive. EMS is basically the shipping fee for international deliveries, and they tend to be on the pricier side. So today I will be taking you on sort of a step-by-step tutorial or guide on how to make these purchases as safely as possible. First, I want to break down what group orders are and why understanding what that is super important in order for you to get your merchandise from Korea. Group orders or GOs are basically fan organized orders of K-pop merchandise straight from Korea or Japan or any other countries at which those K-pop idols or their companies are releasing those items. The purpose of group orders are to minimize the EMS or the express mail service. I've got it pulled up right here just so I don't make any mistakes in the terms. But EMS tends to be very high, so group orders exist to keep them at a minimum cost. By distributing or splitting the EMS evenly between a few people or a few groups, it becomes significantly cheaper. For example, if I wanted a Going 17 magazine, EMS itself would cost me $26, even though I ordered only one magazine. I order 3 magazines, it might increase by a couple of dollars. Let's say it becomes $30, but I can now split it into 3, which means each person has to pay for only $10 of the EMS. The other reason is just so that it's easier for international fans to get their hands on these merchandise. Oftentimes, group order managers are just fans who are really passionate about the idols and they really want other fans to be able to get their hands on these merchandise. So they're doing all of this pro bono, you could say, and oftentimes they lose money doing this. The reason why is because people tend to drop out of group orders or just disappear, never send in the EMS or the shipping fee, and it's this whole entire mess. The next thing you need to know about GOs or group orders is how it works. So typically when you enter or join a GO, you don't pay everything at once. You pay for the cost of the product itself, or the price of the product itself. So if you buy a sweatshirt for $20, that's just the sweatshirt. That's what the sweatshirt is listed at. And then once that item is on its way to your home country or wherever you're living, the GOMs are probably going to tell you, hey, this is the EMS fee. So that's that second payment for the EMS. Once that EMS fee is paid for and the items arrive at your GOM's PO box or house or wherever, they would start charging you your actual delivery fee. Now, this delivery fee is the fee that it takes from the GOM's house to your house specifically. So in total, there are 3 payments that you have to make: the product, the EMS, and the shipping fee. Now, some GOMs might do their EMS fees differently. Some GOMs would just divide it by the number of people who are in that group order. No matter how many magazines you buy, let's say, or albums you buy, they just divide it per person. Some other GOMs take into account how many albums you buy and account each album as like a head. So let's say I order 2 and you order 1. If the EMS cost $3, then some GOMs would split it 1.5 for me and 1.5 for you, but other GOMs would do $2 for me and $1 for you. This really varies, so just be prepared when you join a group order. I don't know if that's something you want to look into. Usually it doesn't affect you that much, but if you really do want to go for the cheapest route, just check with previous purchases, maybe talk to some people or ask the GOM themselves, like, hey, how do you usually count your EMS? They usually have it up on their FAQ, so before you DM your GOM with just a multitude of questions, check their FAQ because it does save them a lot of time. Once you've done all the payments of a group order, what's next? The GOM will typically send you a tracking number that you could check on the website. So for me, I live in the United States, so I can just check it using USPS or FedEx. The case where it takes months for things to arrive, there are two possibilities. One is that it's taking a long time for the company itself to send it over to your home country. That process can take months, weeks. I don't know if it's taken years for some people before, but you know, sometimes it happens. So just be patient. If you are worried about your package and it's your first time ordering, I guess you could DM the GOM. I would not recommend it because they usually do have updates for things like that. So make sure to just keep track of their Twitter account and see if they've posted any updates. If they've been gone for a long time, then I guess you could DM them. But yeah, typically it might take a bit longer for the item to arrive to your home country. Once it's there and it's over at your GOM's house, it usually takes really, really quickly. Once you pay the shipping fee, they just send it out right away most times. So by then, I don't think there's anything to worry about. So those are like the really important things you have to keep in mind while you're joining a group order. Now, how do you choose which group orders or group order managers you should trust on Twitter or other platforms? I am most familiar with Twitter personally. I've never ordered anything from Instagram just because I feel like it's easier for me to get updates on Twitter. So I usually just go on that route. And I can see people's reactions usually more clearly, like they have testimonies and whatever. So that's nice. What I would do, like when I first started joining group orders, is I would follow a bunch of group order managers. You can just look up, for me, let's say 17 group orders USA. So I would type 17 GO US or USA. Some tweets would pop out and some of them would be like profiles of people who do group orders. I would just recommend you follow them for a few days or a few weeks before you put in an order. Next is to check their following or their followers. If other group order managers are following them, chances are you can trust them. Why? Because other group order managers would want to associate themselves with people who are trusted and not people who are scammers. So do that. Try to follow them for a while and see how regularly they update, how many group orders they're handling at that time, and how communicative they are with their followers. One other thing you could do is you could check their pinned tweets. Usually they have more info on their pinned tweet. Most group order managers have a card, so you could go and check it out, and they usually have a master list of what's going on, what they've shipped, what's coming up, and things like that. You can also check their retweets because most times when people get their packages, they would post proof pics and tag the group order manager. So you can also see testimonies that way, which is great. In the case where your package doesn't come at all, and I know this is a big concern that people have, it's not always the GOM's fault. I've had it happen to me once, and only once, I'm pretty sure, where I ordered a fan support and it never came to my door, and it's been 2 years and I was actually in constant contact with the GOM. What happened was this product didn't ship until really late, like months after. I want to say like 5 months after, and it never really got to the GOM's house, so she also didn't know what to do. I DM'd them, I think twice a week or something like that, after months of waiting, and you could tell when someone is lying and when someone is also having a hard time trying to track their shipment. So I would say just do what you think is right when your things don't get to you after months and months and months of waiting. I would say just like keep in constant contact with their GOM. And this person that I ordered from, which like the package never came to me, I've already ordered from that person multiple times before, so that's also how I knew they weren't lying, and they were just like, I don't know, the package is just gone, it never came and never arrived. So yeah. And one last thing that I also wanted to tell you all is that sometimes GOMs would open up their PO box or address in Korea or Japan or wherever, so you can order your own stuff and deliver it to their house before a certain date, and then essentially you can just order whatever you want. Of course, the GOMs usually have certain criteria, like you can only order things that are easy to pack, so no fragile items, no burnables, and things like that. Mainly, people would use this service for album deliveries or, magazines and things of the sort. The reason why the GOMs do this is sometimes just so that they can save on EMS when they have only a few numbers of orders. Let's say like only 5 people ordered one shirt each. The EMS might still be very, very high, so they would open up the address for people to use and order their own stuff, and then once it gets to your home country, they can split the EMS between more people or more orders. So also keep your eyes out for that. Those are usually very good opportunities for you to look for albums that you don't have at home and order without, spending too much money and just spending a lot of money on EMS. GOMs also tend to have a stock sale where they have a lot of stock, mostly for PCs or trading cards, and PCs as photo cards, and they want to sell them because, again, they lose a lot of money. So usually how they try and get back or recover as much cost as possible is through selling all the photo cards that they have garnered or gathered from the albums that they have purchased. So that's also one thing that you could look into if you're interested in completing your photo card collection, looking out for these GOMs stock sales. I think that's what they call them, stock sales. You can actually order a lot of cards, and they tend to have discounts as well. Like if you buy 5 or 10 or a $20 worth of cards, you might get a discounted shipping fee or things like that. So stock sales are also really, really fun. And it's not just photo cards. Sometimes they have like utsiwas or even albums that they just have on hand for some reason or other things. So aside from actually joining orders, you can also purchase from their stock sale. Additionally, group orders are not limited to albums or photo cards or things of the sort. And they're also not limited to official merchandise. Oftentimes they would open it up to fan support. So if someone's birthday is around the corner, fans would have some kind of event and they would sell products to finance that event or finance their gift. So you could also join those, and those are really fun. That's actually how I got into group orders in the first place. So if you're interested, you can also join them. And the fastest way to figure out which group order managers are doing those events or supporting those events is you could look up, let's say, Dokyeom. I said Dokyeom because that was the first one I ever joined. Dokyeom birthday support GO USA, and then it would just like pop up usually. But yeah, birthday support GO your country, and it pops up. If you have any other questions specifically about GOs or GOMs or interacting with GOMs, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. But that is all that I have to talk about for now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's content. I know it's a bit different, but it is something that I wanted to talk about because a lot of my friends have been wondering. And since most of you who are here are K-pop fans, I thought it would be something interesting that I could bring up and just share to you all. Thank you so much for coming over and listening to this little tutorial on how to order stuff and join a GO. I'll see you all very soon, and yeah, bye. Have a nice day.